it's me, Jen, of Your Moment of Jen, and this is Wine, and we are doing the first Stories and Wine of 2017. Holla! Holla! I know, you guys are really excited about this. You've waited a whole week. So this is a show where I talk about stuff and drink wine. So go ahead, get yourself a glass tonight. We are drinking something cheap and red, you know, whatever will make the pain go away. And let's talk. We have some stories to tell. It's a new year, new us. Not really, but we're gonna pretend for a minute. So today, I made my triumphant return to corporate America at a firm where I will be doing digital media, you know, my specialty of sorts. And it made me think of the last time I had a corporate job. As some of you may know, I spent the majority of my 20s and 30s having the babies, staying home and cooking the dinner, doing the laundry. A great job to have. I worked from home as a journalist and a writer, so I basically got to work in my sweatpants all day. I had some jobs here and there outside of the home, but mostly worked from home as a writer in my 20s and 30s. Here I'm in my late 30s, and I had to go to an office building today. And I was like, well, when was the last time I went to an office building and had a job? And a lot of you were in diapers. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, geez, you know, because when you get to a certain age, and I think that age is probably 35, your sense of time gets warped because part of you is in denial that you are pushing 40, and then part of you just has no concept of time anymore. Like somebody the other day posted on Twitter, 10 years ago is officially 2007. And I was like, OMG, yes it is. Tater's gonna be 10. We have had a decade of Tater. But when everybody says something to me like, or if I reference 10 years ago, what I really mean is 1994. It's just what I mean. And 1994 was like 25 years ago. See, it even made the autofocus on my camera freak out. Like, girl, that was like 2.5 decades ago. I know, welcome to being old. Oldsville, population me. So, being the person I am, and take that to mean whatever you want it to be. I have never really done the corporate thing. This time in my life, it makes sense for what I'm doing with brand media and for what I'm doing with Your Moment with Jen. So this corporate opportunity I have makes sense in my life now. It didn't make sense when I had 3 babies. It makes sense now. The first time, we won't talk about the last time because it was uneventful. My last corporate job was incredibly uneventful because I worked for the Catholic Church. Nothing happened there. The only thing that's interesting that happened there was like, priests like to get down. And I don't mean in like in a derogatory way. It's just like being part of that culture with the diocese and everything. They like to get turned. And I learned at that moment that you can love your Sky Daddy and enjoy a cocktail. Or 2. Maybe 3. So let's get in the Wayback Machine. And as we've just established, I am old as shit. Let's go in the Wayback Machine and bring us to a simpler time. The year 1999. A young Jenny Goldbranson, very thin, very blonde, very freaking cute, was an intern for a major national charity. And by intern, I mean they stuck me in an actual broom closet. It was literally the janitorial closet. And I wrote press releases and did, at that time, media was basically calling newspapers, and I typed up press releases, I shit you not, on a word processor. Kids, Go Wikipedia what a brother word processor is, and it will blow your mind. We had dial-up internet. I know. And I cannot believe how far technology has come. I'm just thinking, like, my job now in digital media compared to my job then, it's like, it's been 20 years, and God, it's like a Star Wars movie what we do now compared to what we did then. So anyway, I was an intern for this national charity, and that's all I'm gonna say. And the regional director of this satellite office I interned with was a demon, an actual demon. Like, she had horns. She eventually became like the CEO of this charity, and she was terrifying. Now, the lady who's the president of the office I was in started out a nice person, but the dragon lady made her absolutely insane and evil. Now, if you don't know anything about nonprofits give their potential donors the warm fuzzies, like, you're saving a life. And even the nonprofits I volunteer with now, you have to understand it is all about the money. Like, it is how to shake down people for their disposable income by any means possible. It is cutthroat. I have been in competitive situations on the business end of things that are nowhere near the blood and gore of nonprofit. Like, it is not a warm and fuzzy. It is for the titans of industry. A fundraiser or a program director or whatever those titles are, hats off to ya. You, the real MVP, because you guys are savage as shit. I just remember sales meetings, and he'd be like, we gotta hit these numbers, and it was never about, like, the kids we were helping. It was never about, like, Timmy going to da-da-da. It was always like, get money. It jaded me. So one of the biggest fundraisers of the year was a Who's Who event. Now, this Who's Who event wasn't run by any of the staff. It was run by a lady who lunched, a very wealthy and connected lady in this particular part of town, who, it was kind of her, when you think of like a Real Housewife and their pet charities, you think of this woman, because she really didn't work a 9-to-5. Like, she would, like, as this event was being planned, she would blow in with like a beach bag and like, I mean, she wanted like ridiculous things only rich people would want. She's like, and I want a unicorn, and I want creme brulee. You know, she was just all over the place. And because I didn't really have to plan this event, I just kind of sat there and watched her, and I was like, goals. I want to be you one day, lady. Her name was Carolyn. She was everything. She was everything. I remember when she saw me, oh, you are so cute. I mean, she thought I was just adorable. And 19-year-old me was fucking adorable. But she always like, oh, but you're a shiksa, sweetheart, you know, and I don't want any girls that have converted from my boys. And her boys reminded me of the Trump sons. Like, she was a very pretty lady. Obviously, she had work done. And her husband was a typical, like, old lawyer type. And her sons were literally, like, meatballs and polo shirts. They were awful. They were just, like, big toes with black hair. They were, blah. But I wasn't good enough because I wasn't Hebrew enough or something. So I was just like, oh yeah, you want a purebred for those guys. Whatever. I thought it was cute. So anyway, we finally get to this event, and after the crazy ass, now here's the thing, this event only made this much money, but it was such a PR thing for this charity that they kind of let the crazy old lady with the money have full gamut, and it was a complete circus. Like, literally, this was before Real Housewives. Just imagine your favorite Real Housewife putting on a charity extravaganza. And that was my life. I did the press for it, and she wanted me to, like, Okay, so this was over, the summers in Chicago. And she wanted me to not only reach out to local media, but she wanted me to like call Town and Country magazine and Rolling Stone, like all these huge major societies. She wanted me to call like Page 6 in New York, and I'm like, even then, even 19-year-old me was kind of like, why is anybody in New York gonna care what we're doing in not even Chicago? It wasn't even Chicago. It was the North Shore. My Chicago peeps understand. It's like, this is Skokie. This is not Chicago. So anyway, I made my debut at this lovely function, and that's where the fun really began. Okay, so this event was formal. So being 19 years old, I didn't really have anything formal to wear except for my homecoming dress when I was a senior in high school a couple of years before. So it was a very pretty, I would wear this dress somewhere today. It was a very pretty boat neck, satin, completely lace back, classic navy blue. Of course it was navy blue, floor length gown. It was a gown. Because back in my day, you didn't tart it up for homecoming. You dressed like a lady, okay? And then got freaky in a Wendy's parking lot. But I digress. So because I was stupid intern, me right here, stupid intern, they didn't want me near anything. My job, because this was held at a very historic location that wasn't set up for modern times. Yes, 1999, guys, was the modern era. We didn't have horses and buggies. So you had to take the celebrities, and I use that term very loosely, you had to take the celebrities from the valet area and walk them through the corridors of this historical place into, because it wasn't like a Holiday Inn ballroom. It was a very cool place. I always wanted to get married there. So you had to like zigzag through this very old historic area. So my job was to, and I'm all glamorous, and they put me out there because I was pretty. Let's be honest. I didn't have a brain cell in my head, and I don't have any now. But they put me there because I'm tall and pretty, and I walked people through. I was like Miss Golden Girl. So the worst thing you can ever do is put me in a situation where I am somebody's first impression. And yes, I have a nice package to deliver, but when I get nervous, shocking, this will shock you, I get incredibly awkward. I get like, why is she talking? Stop talking. And again, I was 19 and I was a goody too. She was 19-year-old, so I didn't drink or anything. So I didn't have anything to take the edge off. I was just nervous because these people were local celebrities and I knew who they were. Like, okay, this was when Robin Meade from CNN, she was in Chicago at this time and she was at this event and she was wearing like this bomb ass ball gown with like, oh my God, and she had the cute little haircut. Oh my God. So I'm like, hey Robin Meade, hey, welcome. That is one thing. So of course they're like, oh, what a pretty blonde. Oh, she's talking. And everybody's like, oh, aren't you sweet? Okay, thank you. And I'd go back and I get, okay, so the Secretary of State of Illinois. I don't know if he was Secretary of State yet or if he had just he's been Secretary of State of Illinois for like 135 years. He's Jesse White. He's famous, world famous for the Jesse White tumblers. Now, if you are a child from the 80s and 90s, the Jesse White tumblers, they probably still do this, would come to your school and do an assembly and they would tumble and it would blow your mind how amazing they were. You'd see them at parades. They are like the Harlem Globetrotters of gymnastics. They're incredible. And that's why I knew who Jesse White was. I didn't know who the hell Jesse White was otherwise. So he was a guest at this event. And of course, I wasn't quite as tall as I am now. I had a growth spurt later on, but I was still pretty tall in heels. I was probably about 5'8". And he's not a tall guy. Obviously, you can't be a tumbler and be that tall. And He comes up to like here on me, and I of course try to be gracious, but because I'm me, it comes out. So he's got his lovely wife is there, so I'm walking them back, and I look at a Turner and I go, Mr. White, I just want to say I am a huge fan of the Jessie White tumblers, and as word salad starting to come out, and I don't know what happened. I know what happened. Jen happened. My shoe clipped something and I ate it. Like, just ate it. We had a Jen down. The intern's down, guys. And he looks down at me, not even missing a beat, and I voted for, as soon as I could vote for Jessie White, I voted for Jessie White forever, because he looks down at me and he goes, well, if I have an opening for a stumbler, I'll call you. And he just keeps going. It was amazing. Oh, and then he said something really cute like, because you sure know how to stumble, trumble, tumble. And I was like, oh my God, you just made something horrifying amazing. So, needless to say, after I tripped on the Secretary of State, yeah. Intern Jenny was kind of like, does anybody need to be in the Cult Classic? Because we should put the intern in there because she's a disaster. It was really, really hard work. There's also another national event that I interned for, and it's a huge national campaign. You're probably familiar with it, and that was a grind too. And after that, I was like, out. I'm gonna go work at the mall. That's bullshit. But yeah, that was my first corporate experience. And the funny thing is, I was driving home from this event, and I was tired. Like, we had to be there early in the morning to set up, and then I had to go home and get ready in hair and makeup, and then to come back, and then we had to be there late because it's a nonprofit. The nonprofits don't hire help. They have interns, and interns are breaking down tables and chairs in their gowns. That's nonprofit life. So I'm driving home from the North Shore to my parents' house, and I'm hauling ass because, for one thing, I had a very strict curfew, and ain't no way my parents gonna believe me when I'm like, oh yeah, party ran late on a summer night. Yeah, I'm not gonna be home. No, my parents were like, oh, it's midnight, stupid. So I was hauling ass home. It's probably 45 minutes away from where my parents lived, and I got pulled over. Cop comes up. You drinking? And I'm like, no, sir. See, I'm only 19, because I really thought nobody drank before they were 21. Like, that's how sheltered I was. And all of a sudden I was like, and I fell on Jessie White, and I cut my finger breaking down to, and I just like lost it. I was like, and I hate being an intern, and this is stupid. And he let me go. I must have been believable. I must have been awkward enough for him to be like, oh yeah, she's telling the truth. So welcome back to corporate America 20 years later, Jen. Let's have a round of applause. I'm back in it. I really hope I don't trip over the Secretary of State. Oh my God, what if I have to meet Donald Trump in this job, you guys? It's completely possible it could happen. Could you guys imagine me and Donald Trump? That would be a national incident, an international incident. I'm just trying to think of, because now that I think about it, I'm actually going to be exposed to things just as this in this new position I'm going to be in. Yeah. Well, we'll have more stories for Stories and Wine. Thank you for watching this first Stories and Wine of 2017. If you want to see more of this amazingness, because you do, be sure to hit the subscribe button. You know you want to. And check out the other things we do on Your Moment of Jen. We have a serial fiction series called When You're Far Away. I do lifestyle posts. I do health and fitness posts. I do regular blog and TV recaps. I pretty much do it all. There's a podcast every Thursday, the Your Moment of Jen podcast, where we talk. I hear it's lovely to listen to me for 45 minutes when you're on the treadmill. This is what I hear. Or not. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you guys next week. Take care. Bye now.